And we should hit record on here too. And we should hit record on here too.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mackenzie. Good to see you.
You too.
Wow, we have a lot of people
Great.
in for a while. All right, today we are streaming live to YouTube. So if you have any issues with your face being seen or information being out there, just be aware we are streaming to YouTube because the topic is quite a hot topic. We've been asked about it a lot. And we invited Kaylin from Jasper to answer questions about how Jasper is different than ChatGPT and custom GPTs and why you might want to use one or the other. And she's going to be here at 2:15 to answer questions. We're just going to have a little chat before then. ChatGPT has had an update this week, and some people are finding that the apps that they're using that are attached are having issues because all of the apps have to get updated when ChatGPT gets updated. I haven't had anything not work for what I've been using it for. I don't know if anybody has seen any fallout from the ChatGPT update. Katie, Andrea?
I had some issues with my plugins. So if I am using a Canva plugin or an Excel or Google Sheets rather plugin, I had some issues with that. But overall, it's been working fine other than that.
I haven't noticed anything, but to be honest, I haven't been playing with it today. So
Mackenzie, Kristen, anybody else? No?
On my end, no.
Okay, that's great. So Chris, welcome. I think this is the first time we've seen you on a Wednesday.
I just came to hang out with you.
Well, thanks for coming to hang out. It's nice to see you here.
You too.
Kristen is not Kristen. That's actually Tiana, and she's in Phoenix or Scottsdale. You're in Scottsdale right now.
Yes. Yeah. When you said Kristen earlier, I was like, does she mean me or maybe there's someone else in the group named Kristen?
There you go.
I renamed it for you.
Thank you.
Oh, we've got Lisa. Okay, we have a fun crew today. All right, do we have any questions, comments? What are you working on before Kaylin gets here?
So I noticed that my Jasper is looking different than other tutorials I'm finding on YouTube and online, and I'm assuming that's with the new updates and plugins. So for me, specifically, my issues are trying to get my SEO Surfer account connected because the tutorials I found were outdated. And then also being able to pull information from a website link versus having to copy and paste it when creating content. It seems to have changed or disappeared. So I'm not sure if that's still a feature or not.
Okay, yeah, we can ask Kaylin when she gets here. Any other questions that are not Jasper related?
I can't answer the surfer one though, because that's pretty simple. All you need to do is have the surfer SEO open in one of your tabs and you're logged into it. And when you open up Jasper, it will automatically detect that and pull the surfer in.
Oh, okay. I'll try that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And the reason yours was looking different, we kind of talked about this, I think, but they completely renovated their UI. So I don't think most people have had a chance to create training videos with their new UI yet. It just rolled out this week to everybody. You got it a little bit earlier because you were one of the newer users. So they rolled it out to like newer users and then continued the rollout to people who've been on the platform for a little bit longer. So we actually just got it in our account on Monday. So
Yeah,
now
and
it looks like yours.
as of last Friday, they had rolled it out to 50% of their users.
Oh, okay. So do you
Yeah.
like it better, or do you find it to be better designer update than what you're used to?
I think it's going to be better once we get used to it because it's much more AI driven than it was before. So it's actually better. But of course, it's that time of like getting used to it and getting access to old files and things like that. There, it's so much better. And Caitlin, of course, will walk us through specific portions of it, but we're actually going to do a whole series on Jasper and sort of starting with creating your voice and brand and all that, and just some more tutorials there about how to get that just really perfect and customized and get all your information in there because they have added so many features that our course will also be updated with the new features. But again, that was Friday when we got access, or
Yes.
part of the world got access. So we will definitely have that available as well. But that's also why we want to bring people from Jasper on, and then you can ask your specific questions or give them things that you want to see in the platform, which is also a really cool option to have.
Yeah, they're good about responding to things that aren't working and making updates to the platform. They're very open to the user response. And one of the reasons why we wanted to focus on Jasper is last year was really about individual experimentation. And we all tried out all of these different tools. You know, there's an AI for that has more than 10,000, probably more than 11,000 at this point. I was on it today checking out some new tools, but everybody here is working in a business, has a business, and needs to work with AI and teams. And so we're having conversations about Jasper because it's really good for teams. It's really scalable. And with some of the things that they have coming in down the road this year in their product development, it's going to be even more powerful for teams. And we want to suggest products that we know will support your whole team and not just an individual. And there are tools that we talk about that, you know, it's just good for supercharging the individual and they don't have the team accounts. But Jasper is a really collaborative one. And so we really like where they're going. And, you know, we're betting on that horse. And you know, having a closer relationship with them. So they really want to hear from you as well. And what your feedback is for them. If you don't like the experience when you're in there, if you want to see other features, they're really open to that. And there are not many people producing tools that are encouraging that kind of conversation and making themselves available for it. And so we really want to we want to participate and interact with them as much as we can too, because their product helps our business. It helps, you know, it helps us run faster. It helps us be more efficient. And some of the things that they're going to be introducing this year are going to make even more efficiencies and make it more powerful. And we just can't wait to see where that goes. And if there are other tools that we're paying attention to, as far as how they are working with teams. Copilot has announced that every small business can have Copilot available to them now. I don't know if that's true. They did announce it back in September as well. And they announced it, I think, in November again. They keep announcing it. But Copilot,
It is true. It's
it is true.
Yes.
Do you have it, Manny?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I mean, not just me, but customers also have them.
awesome. That's good to know. So tomorrow I'm going to be going to Redmond, Washington, which is where Microsoft headquarters are, and meeting with their small business co-pilot representative. And I'm going to get the latest from her and then hopefully convey some of that information to everybody here next week. So that'll be a fun one. And maybe we can get her to be a guest too, because so many businesses are on Microsoft. Who in here runs on Microsoft? So then everybody else is on Google? Yeah, Google. Okay. Unfortunately, Google has not been winning in that race. I don't know if you've played with Duet at all, but it doesn't do too much yet. And so that's where I'm curious how much Copilot is going to be able to do at this point in all the different apps. But I'll get a good rundown on that tomorrow and to see where they are. If you have Microsoft products, they have done these little sneak previews, like in Excel, it'll pop up and it'll say, you have access to Copilot for the next 48 hours. And so people have been able to play with it and see what it can do. They put it into GitHub, of course, first last year, and then it's also in Power Automate. It's been in Power Automate since November, which is another Microsoft product. But the things that it can do are really cool. And I think that if we pay attention to what's happening, those sort of things are going to be happening to Google environments as well. And as these capabilities come in, our dependence on the long list of tools will get less, and it'll get more condensed into the environments that we're already working in. Something that we've been playing with a lot too are chatbots. Is anybody interested in chatbots in here? Mackenzie?
That was actually going to be my question.
Oh,
So I asked this question actually 6 months ago, and since then we've been working on building a chatbot on our websites with Caffeinated CX, which was a recommendation
Oh.
you guys and from others. And we have worked with a team from there for the last 5 months, and as of yesterday, we had to call it quits because
oh no.
basically they are unable to integrate with Zendesk. And we were their first customer using Zendesk, and we're not ready to move away from Zendesk just for a custom chatbot. So I was just curious if anybody here who has a Zendesk plan that is not the industry plan is using any type of off-the-shelf chatbot instead of custom.
We just switched off of Zendesk, so I'm no help.
Where
However,
did you switch? You can at least, just so I have in the back of my head.
no, we went to Gorgeous, and there's one big hiccup with Gorgeous is that you can't transfer phone calls, which is a huge hiccup that
Yep.
was not disclosed.
Yeah.
I have heard a local gym owner here in Boise created his own chatbot with Answerly, but it's not a complete CRM.
Yeah, there are some other chatbots we can make recommendations for you. There are other chatbots that integrate into a lot of the different tools, and it is nice to have something that is more native. A good place to find out what is working, because while some say that they integrate, as you found out, they don't necessarily work that well. Facebook groups, like a Zendesk Facebook group. I don't know if you're part of any, but that's where we found out about the bot for Go High Level that we use. And if somebody just built it straight for Go High Level, there are companies that have bots for every platform. But this one was specific for Go High Level, and it's just a random guy that has it and it plugs in and works perfectly, but it's built for that platform. It's not from a big company. And I think we're going to run out of time today, but we can get back to chatbots next week and show you the inside of ours, and a bit more about how it's programmed and some of the things. We can also come back with a list of compatible with some of the different tools, because Zendesk is something that I'm looking at for another client too. And we recommended Caffeinated, but I didn't realize that it didn't really work with
It works if you no longer want to do live chat at all.
Oh,
But if you want to transfer to agent, it doesn't allow you to chat. It just makes you email them. So it depends
Oh.
on your needs. But we still wanted to be able to live chat.
Yeah. And one of the weird quirks with the chatbot we're using is you chat with it on the website and it sends you a text message. And we're like, we want to chat to stay on the website. And so they have just rolled that out so that it can natively integrate with the chat on the website. But, there's just all these funny little quirks that you don't know till you get into it.
And I'm a little bit to the point of like, maybe we just take a pause because I think the answer is going to hit us over the head once some of these businesses catch up. Like they're going to make it. Maybe we're just a little bit too early and we should wait.
And that seems to be a popular answer. I know some people were waiting for Copilot and there were things that they wanted to do, but they waited, this last year to be able to get access to Copilot because they didn't want to spend the time and get everybody onto some other, random product. It looks like Andrea found one that says it integrates with Zendesk too. So we'll have to play with that. And Mackenzie, I want to keep that conversation going even outside of here because we need to know for Zendesk for sure. Just for other people that we're working with too. So Lisa, you went to Gorgeous, and do they have a built-in chatbot, an AI one?
And it's constantly learning. I can't speak to the expertise around it because we just onboarded a new customer service senior manager who's overseeing it, and we brought in a consultant to get us on Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So we need to play with it more before I can give any experience around it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious how theirs will be performing. And the reason we'd like to have it native to the platform, because you can use something like ManyChats and you can, put some code and have it integrate, and that'll go into pretty much any platform. But the reason we like to use it right inside our CRM is then the conversation stays within the conversation with the customer, and we can just see it sequentially, and the person can talk to us on Facebook, on Instagram, on the website, in a text message, and it's all part of the same conversation. And then just because your chatbot is learning, or you might think it's all the way trained, you'll always have to update it. Because like for us, I went on there and I was checking some things out and it gave a wrong start date that was like last September for our class. So and it had the knowledge of the new start date. So then I had to add the knowledge of the new start date again so that it would tell people the actual real start date of the class. So you've got to keep an eye on it too. All right, we've got Kaylin. Oh, maybe. There we go. Hi, Kaylin.
There we go. Hi, how are y'all?
Good, welcome. Kaylin is our Jasper connection. She can answer a lot of questions. We were just talking about chatbots. And I know Tiana has some questions about the new look of Jasper.
Yeah.
And we have gotten questions about why Jasper, why not GPTs and ChatGPT. And I actually created a post and a list and sent it out to a bunch of people because they kept asking about it. So we thought we'd bring you on as the voice of expertise from Jasper and let our friends here ask you questions if they've got them. And we also, like this year, our focus is on supercharging teams, not just individuals. Last year was a lot, as you know, playing around with tools as individuals and having a lot of fun with them. But now we want to get really productive and supercharge teams. So I will turn over to you, Kaylin.
Yeah, so super excited to be here, first of all. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I just hopped off of a live webinar. So we were teaching the new user interface actually and walking through blog posts and SEO. And so anytime I'm not on something like this, you can always find me on a webinar. But a little bit of background context. I've been at Jasper for 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. I was employee number 12. So I've been here for a while. And I think that really kind of highlights what I see in the product. I love Jasper. I love advocating for Jasper and I love teaching it. And so I think this is a really common question that I get of why Jasper? There's so many other tools or AI content platforms out on the market right now. Why should I choose Jasper? And it comes down to a lot of different things, but it seems like what y'all are kind of leaning into a little bit here is this interoperability piece. And so this is what I love about Jasper. Jasper is never overly reliant on one large language model. And so that is what I kind of really lean into with Jasper is Jasper will actually choose the best model for the task you need to execute. And so with a lot of other AI content platforms and tools, they're reliant on only one large language model. So that means the uptime in Jasper is going to be a lot higher, and it's going to really allow you to get the best outputs for key marketing scenarios. And so whether you're writing a blog post for SEO versus an email sequence or a nurture social campaign, whatever you're creating inside of Jasper, Jasper will actually choose the right model for the task you need to execute. And so that's something I always like to lean into is just proprietary models and talk into that a little bit further. But outside of that, I know you're talking through teams. Like with generative AI, we're always empowering teams. And Jasper is built for teams. Like Jasper isn't built for individuals. And so that's why we've really started to build out and scale the interface. So there's going to be a lot more security revolved around Jasper. You can now in Jasper Brand Voice teach Jasper on the sound of your writing, on knowledge about your business. So who is your target persona? Who is your ICP? What's your key messaging, your product information, your services? Jasper's really securely trained on all of that information within the platform. And so I know with a lot of other tools, security isn't of the highest caliber, but since we're working with a lot of enterprise teams from 5 team members to I have an account with like 600 team members, we need to make sure we're maintaining and prioritizing security. So that's huge. And then the last thing I'll highlight is like marketing scenarios. Jasper's built for marketing. So I see a lot of people using ChatGPT. I know a lot of friends kind of talk about ChatGPT and they're like, I got this really great summary. I got this really great quick email. But whenever I work with people who are using Jasper, they're like, I need Jasper to adopt our strategy. We are writing blog posts to really enhance our SEO. We're driving traffic on social. And so that's not something that can necessarily be done with a tool like ChatGPT. Jasper needs to understand your brand. So how do you communicate? Who do you communicate to? Jasper wants to know about that information, and that can't be done in something like ChatGPT. You also need credibility. So with Jasper, you do get access to new Google search information. And so I was just on a call showing how you can do research on information that's happening in the world of generative AI today. That's not something you're going to get on a lot of other models. And so it's going to remove hallucinations and it's going to save you a lot of time in that initial first draft. And so I could talk a lot about information sources, proprietary models. I might bore you to death there, but I'm really passionate about it, if you can't tell. And so happy to answer any questions and dive in a little further there. Absolutely.
I do have a question though. When people say, well, what about GPTs? I can train a GPT on all of this information and then just make it my marketing GPT and it'll produce this good content. I mean, I know how I answer that because I know the outputs are not going to be as good, but if somebody needs a little bit more nuanced answer, what would you say to them? Like, why can't I just make the AI Smart Marketing GPT and we use that?
Yeah. I think there's so many other components of it that I wouldn't want you to miss if you were to do something like that. And so, I mean, you can even expand outside of marketing. I'm working with a marketing department right now who I showed them how to use Jasper. And I think what's cool about Jasper is it's extensible. And so on that point too, outside of interoperability, you get to bring Jasper with you everywhere. And so if you haven't installed our Jasper browser extension, I will plug it. There is no sunk cost. So you can bring your brand voice with you everywhere. So it's not just like a platform we want you to kind of live in and kind of build off your brand voice. We want you to bring it with you everywhere. And we want you to expand it across your organization. It's not going to just be something that you're adopting as a marketing team. We want your entire organization to adopt it. So for us, it's CS, sales, HR, people, marketing. And so there's a lot of assets I wouldn't want you to miss if you're just focused on custom GPTs to really make sure you're adding that human touch and that brand voice component to it.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I gave somebody a checklist with, I think, 20 items at least.
You
know what the difference is because with the different models that are inside Jasper. So I don't know if everybody here knows it, but I love Anthropic and I like the nuanced copy and outputs from Anthropic, and Anthropic is inside of Jasper.
Yeah.
And as well as OpenAI. And so you get access to the different models through it. And I like that because it produces consistently better content that aligns with the brand voice for all of the different brand voices for our customers because of that knowledge base.
I love it. Seems like you're the expert here, Nicole. I'm impressed.
We're in it every day, right? So, and we have been for almost 3 years now, I guess. And I've had that little Jasper icon following me to every text box for at least 2 years, since it was out. And so we're in it a lot, which I want to transition this to, Tiana had some questions about the new interface.
Yeah.
And, she was looking for some instructional videos. with the new
Okay.
version, but couldn't find it because it is so new. And we found out on Friday, half of the customers had the new interface as of
Mm.
last Friday. We got it on Monday. And so, Tiana, do you want to ask Kaylin any questions about that?
Yes, I was wondering, so because I'm watching a lot of instructional videos or tutorials and noticing they're outdated, I didn't know if you could maybe give a brief overview of the new dashboard. I think that would be helpful for starters. And then my specific question to go off of that is I noticed that there is not an option for copying and pasting a link from a web page to pull information. So say I want to write a product page for our business on Botox. I was wondering where I can just copy and paste the actual brand page of Botox Cosmetics and pull it into maybe a blog post or a product description that I'm writing for our website.
Love that. Yes. Oh my gosh. So kind of fun. So something I'm doing next week, you can totally join me, is I'm doing 8 lunch and learn sessions. And so kind of over a span of 2 weeks, I'm like all about education. And so you telling me this, Tiana, is like, oh my gosh, I want to educate people on the new UI because I think it's significantly better. I think at first you might notice a couple of changes, but I think it's going to pay dividends in terms of streamlining your process. And so I can go ahead and just share my screen here. Let me go ahead and find it. Got like multiple tabs going on here. Let me know if y'all can see this okay. I'm going to be in my Jasper internal workspace. See, it's loading. Cool. Awesome. And so to your point, Tiana, I always recommend using your knowledge base as a starting point for your marketing URL. And so as you're using any of these templates, so maybe it is a blog post template, maybe it is for a product description or a social post or a product update email, you can always include knowledge in those dynamic input fields inside of a template. And so you can see like all of the knowledge I have in my Jasper internal workspace. I always recommend including your marketing page URL, put your target persona in here, any white pagers, event information, product information, your missions, your pillar statements, because as you're using templates or even as you're using a tool like Remix, which is my favorite, you can actually choose to look at that URL kind of as a starting foundation for Jasper to generate assets off of it. And so that kind of leans into the new UI and what we can do here. And so this is just like a best practice for me. I always click on create content and open up a new document here. And the big notice you're going to, or change you're going to notice is going to be in this create flow, right? Like the templates are going to look a little bit different, but they're served to gather context. And so the reason we built this out like this is because we know with generative AI, your context is critical. And we want you to have some visibility in the process. So like we want you to see the outline Jasper would generate for you before he actually generates the blog. So you can go back and edit and kind of make any changes here. And so I know you talked on, were you talking through blog posts as the example there?
Product description pages for our website.
Product description pages. Okay. And so would you want to just take that direct URL and have Jasper kind of do something from there? Or would you kind of want to give Jasper some guidance on how you would want to go ahead and create that asset?
Yeah, I would say guidance because we want it tailored to our practice philosophy and how we approach medical aesthetics, but then also pulling in the clinical information from the Botox page.
Cool. So the reason I wanted to ask is you can kind of take 2 different routes, but with the route that you're kind of explaining to me, I would go ahead and use templates. The only reason I ask is because we have this function called Remix, which I think is heavily underused. I use this every single day because you have the option to upload a URL and tell Jasper what to do with it. And so for me, I like to use File. I am constantly doing calls. I upload a transcript and tell Jasper, extract the key points, get items I can take and write a personalized follow-up to a customer. And so here you're kind of giving Jasper one singular thing and saying, do this with it. And so this is like an everyday thing for me. Anytime I have a webinar, I'm like, Jasper, give me the 5 features I covered and why they're important. And so that's whenever I would use something like Remix, and you can use a URL, but you can also do that in this create flow. And so I'm going to ask you one more time to make sure I got it. You said, what was it for a product? A product description?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. So if I click on product description here, this is like a predetermined template. And so Jasper's going to ask you some questions through these input fields. But what if you're like, I don't really want to manually write this in. I just want to give Jasper background. You'll see this add more information button, and you actually have the ability to add in your knowledge. So I can click on this and I can look through anything in my knowledge base, including a URL. So maybe I wanted to talk through analytics and insights, something that's coming very soon inside of Jasper. And so if I selected that, Jasper can then use that as a starting point to write a product description about it. You can still go back and add in any more information here, like unique selling points, target audience, just so Jasper has all of this information. And so maybe I want it to be enterprise marketers. And I want to go ahead and fill this out. I can do this, set a voice in my document in the right-hand corner. So I can choose like Jasper Marketing, for example, save this, and then click generate. But does that make sense in terms of kind of adding that URL into the process there?
Yes, no, totally. And I just didn't know that that's kind of where it was going towards, because I remember it being like add knowledge base or add a link URL on the tutorials I saw. So that's very helpful. And then will Jasper still prompt you or ask additional questions in that like left column to kind of help generate more specific content too?
Yeah, so it's kind of dependent on use case. And so I know for blog posts, Jasper's going to ask, what's your topic? Who's your target audience? Are there any SEO keywords you want to incorporate organically here? Are there any case studies you want to include? What's your ideal length? Is it like 1,000 to 1,200 words? Is it 1,500 plus words? And so in product descriptions, he might ask key features, knowledge, target audience, and then you can choose to give him more. Like he's going to ask like, what are some feature details here? And so Jasper knows what my input was here on my knowledge base. So he's going to say, these are what I think would be the benefits, like comprehensive analytics. The benefit there would be real-time insights, increased engagement and conversion rates. And so he'll start populating some answers, and he's going to kind of ask you more questions here, but you can always choose to put in your own answers through custom information, just to give Jasper additional context, should you want to take that route.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then I also can't help but notice that you have your little SEO button there, and
Yes.
I don't. So I wanted to inquire more about that.
Or
Yeah.
the custom button too, we don't have.
Yes. And so I would need to log in here, but we have an integration with Surfer SEO. And so if you have an integration with Surfer, you can plug into the document so you can actually see how your content would be ranking organically as you write. And so it's Jasper and Surfer working in tandem. And so as you start to include keywords, you're going to get your content audit score. And so as say my keyword was digital marketing, as I include it more and more, I can see my content light up green on the left-hand side, and it will recommend you add this one more time or two more times. And so we have this integration with Surfer SEO now, but we're actually working on an integration with SEMrush as well this year that will be incorporated into the document editor experience as well for target research, as well as seeing how your content would be optimized in an audit.
Okay, so I have a Surfer SEO account, and before you got on, Andrea told me that Jasper would detect that I had my window open, and Jasper would kind of prompt me to log in, but I'm not seeing that. So if you're using Surfer SEO for the first time in Jasper and you're not being prompted to log in, how else could you integrate it?
Amazing question. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go back to your dashboard. You're going to want to click on your name in the top left-hand corner, and you're going to want to go to your settings. You have to toggle this on first before you log in. So I'm going to have to click on integrations here, and I'm going to want to toggle Surfer SEO purple. That's essentially allowing that SEO button to light up in your document editor. And so if that isn't toggled on purple, Jasper's not going to know that you have a Surfer subscription. He's not going to want to toggle that on for you because you're not using it. So you'll have to click that purple button, and then you'll be prompted to log in there.
I see it. Okay, perfect.
Hey,
thank you.
Good. No, I love your questions. This shows that you're exploring everything, which is good. So I'm happy to hear it.
Trying, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And Lisa, were you able to get that too? The SEO part?
Yeah, we got it. We use SEO AI. But we'll check into definitely the Surfer SEO. Now, I see plagiarism checker. Is that a specific platform as well, or do we just have to toggle it on?
Yeah, so this is going to be Copyscape working within Jasper. And so if you're in your document editor and you want to like add to the reassurance of your copy to, I mean, Jasper's 99.9% plagiarism free, but sometimes just for peace of mind, if this is toggled on purple, you're going to see it in the top right-hand corner of your document, but it's going to be an add-on. So you're going to want to add plagiarism credits to your account. And I can go ahead and grab the pricing on that for you too, because I don't know top of mind, because it starts with like 20 cents and then it's an add-on by specific amount of words, but I can definitely get that information to you.
Okay, perfect. And then another quick question, and this is a completely side note. It's my
No worries.
I noticed that you're calling Jasper a he.
Yes. Yeah, I get this question a lot. And so it's always been like that. But I'm at this point, and even with society, where I'm like, you can be whatever you want, right? But the reason we came up with Jasper, I don't know if y'all knew this, but we actually used to be called Jarvis, and we got a threat from Marvel, if you've seen Iron Man, to change our name to Jasper. And so one of our co-founders' brothers, his middle name was Jasper. And he came up with the idea of like, oh, I think Jasper would be a great name. And so we kind of named Jasper after him. So our kind of co-founder was like, this is an honor and ode to my brother. He kind of helped me build out Jasper. He did a lot of the back end engineering and prompting. And so I guess it was a he because we named it after him. But I am also at this point where like, maybe we could change it. And so I like when you bring that up because I feel like I get that quite some time. And so that's good to know.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah. Yeah. I also love your background. Now I want to get some flowers.
Oh, you should go.
Mom.
Yeah, you should go to her website. Yes.
Oh my gosh. With Valentine's Day coming up and all the things, and just to treat myself on a Friday, I will. That's so exciting. I'm going to look that up.
Kaylin, do you mind showing how the custom button works back on the templates?
Yes. Yep. So I'm going to go back in here. I might even go into this blog post I created earlier. And so are you referring to when I'm walking through any of these? So maybe I'll just click on like blog here. Whenever we're getting this custom information.
On the left-hand side, there's a button under favorites called custom.
Yep. So this is for our business customers, so our business partners. And so whenever you're on a business plan with us, you can get custom solutions. And so, for example, I work with an organization and they are like cranking out product descriptions, and they wanted us to do the prompting essentially on the back end so they could use that own custom template that's only available inside of their workspace. And so if you want to see custom solutions like a custom template or a custom workflow, this is where this would populate. And so it wouldn't fall under all of our templates that any customer can access, but this would be a custom template that our product team creates for you to enhance your workflow. And so that's just when this would populate here.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yep, absolutely.
I have about 3,500 products that I need to rewrite product descriptions for.
Okay.
And I don't know if we're a business. We have a plan for 5 people.
Okay.
And so it's basically, it's internal marketplace that we would hire you to write the custom prompt for it. And then could we Zapier it right in? Like,
yeah, so we have an API, and so that's the most common use case of our API is product descriptions, especially product descriptions in bulk. And so that's like the most common use case we get there amongst our business partners. It's like we have 5,000 product descriptions we need updated or created. We do that on the back end, and then it's just a quick API that can plug into maybe your sheets or whatever you may be working through. And so the API would probably be the best route there in terms of that use case.
okay, perfect. And do y'all have an internal marketplace of people who do that? Or do you, or is that something that we'd have to go outside and find someone to help with that? I mean, our internal team, too. But
yeah. So that would be our product team, and it would also be the CSM on your account. And so I heard you say 5 users. If you're 5 users, I am likely your CSM, which is very exciting. And so I usually work with teams between 5 to 10. Can get up higher a little bit too, but it's likely that I'd be working really closely with you. And so we can definitely connect after this and talk a little bit further, but it would be our CSM and our solutions team building out that for you.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great questions. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, I really appreciate your flexibility with that because we've been talking, Lisa, we had a conversation with the Jasper team on Friday, which required like 4 people from Jasper for one of our custom things that we want to have built. And They're very open and easy to work with when we have these questions. And they're really interested in improving the product and having a really good customer experience. And that's one of my favorite things is just the availability of you and the rest of the team, Kaylin, because we can always get our questions answered and you can help us with custom things like you'll probably help Lisa with.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it's my favorite part of my job. I say like my new tagline is I respond embarrassingly fast. It's likely because like I'm using the extension, which I might even show you really quickly just for fun.
Yeah.
This is like my secret weapon with Jasper. And so this is your message. And so maybe I wanted to respond to you after this, we did this little webinar saying how much fun it was. I can just ask Jasper to write a response. Oops. Thanking her for having me as a guest, and I had a blast. I can just type this out, click this purple run command with Jasper button, and Jasper is going to respond to me directly inside of my email. And Jasper reads context. And so he knows who I am. He has like my name. He knows I'm a CSM because he can read the context of my page. So for me, I get a lot of LinkedIn messages. So I just asked Jasper to respond and he's like, okay, I know the context. So this is how I respond to emails as fast as I do is because I have this extension plugged in. And this is where brand voice, I think, also makes a difference, right? So I can go into this and I'm like, okay, I have an email marketing voice. I need to be applied. I can highlight this, click on this Ask Jasper button, which you can use inside of Jasper in our document editor or even in our extension. I can click on that and change my tone. So I think I have my LinkedIn voice in this workspace, not my email, but I can select that just to make sure I'm maintaining consistency. So maybe you're in LinkedIn and we have, AI Smart Marketing's LinkedIn voice, and you're like, I need to apply this for brand consistency and alignment. I can do that and replace it. Or maybe I need this to be a little bit shorter. I can change my length here. So it just allows you to really bring Jasper with you everywhere. And so this is like my secret weapon. I love it. It allows me to bring my voice, but also prompt if you love Jasper Chat. And so it's really helpful.
Is there, and there's the tutorials for that are probably up to date because that's not necessarily tied to the new dashboard.
Correct. A question for you is, do you have a Jasper Academy login by chance, Tiana?
I don't believe so. I just registered like 2 weeks ago. So I have,
Okay.
let's see if it tells me what kind of, where will it tell me like what kind of profile I have plans?
So inside of your settings, the only thing with Jasper Academy is it's separate than your Jasper login. And so if you just go to, I can even drop this link in the chat for y'all. This is like my shameless plug. I'll make sure I send it to all of y'all. There we go. You just create an account with an email and password of your choice, but all of our tutorials here are up to date. Funny thing is you'll see me on a lot of these. So from Chrome extension to brand voice to Ask Jasper to writing blogs, everything you need is going to be in here. And you can even search in the top right-hand corner, like extension. And I can search there and I can see, oh, we have a collection here just on our extension that I can look through. And so this is where you'll find all of our up-to-date tutorials, courses. You're going to want to make sure you get into Jasper Academy here.
Okay, perfect. And then, so obviously email bogs us all down. Do you foresee there being a way that this can be integrated with social media for responding to DMs and comments from like a desktop view at least?
Ooh, walk me through like your ideal scenario of what that would look like, just so I can get a better picture.
So if I'm logged into Instagram on the desktop and I'm just actually replying to comments and messages that we get from patients, would there be a way to integrate Jasper to make that process more efficient, quicker, and then maintain brand voice and, even be able to pull from our knowledge base of clinical information?
Yeah. And so with the extension, you can bring Jasper into Instagram. So you can think through social platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And so you can just go ahead and prompt Jasper to write a response, but you also have the templates whenever you're using the extension. And so Jasper will hang out with you around here. So you could always go into like this commands template, and then maybe the background is the comment. And your command for Jasper is to write a kind and empathetic response to this social comment. You can bring this with you everywhere, but you can also bring your voice. And something that we just released that we're about to launch externally is bringing your knowledge too. So as of right now, you can bring your voice with you everywhere, but you're soon about to also be able to bring knowledge. And so that's very exciting as well. So bringing pricing, product information as you're responding. But as of right now, you can bring Jasper into those social platforms through the extension.
Okay, so instead of copying and pasting the question into that little module, it can actually read the page then?
Yep.
Okay. And is that compatible with a phone as well, or desktop view only?
Just the desktop right now. Yep. So it's through Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And it looks like Nicole answered that question of like, yeah, you would need a seat or a license within the account to get access to that Chrome extension. Cool.
Yeah, and there was another question too, because we kind of showed where knowledge base was, but Kale would like to see where brand voice is, like
Yeah.
what elements of brand voice are.
For sure. So right when you log into Jasper, it'll be hanging out on the left-hand side of your screen here. And so if you're on a business plan, you'll see this third pillar of style guide drop down. But style guide's only for business partners because this is our highest level of control and customization. So you can set wide terms, grammar, and punctuation rules. So for us at Jasper, it's important that we are always like putting Copilot in lowercase with no dash. We always replace input with prompt, revolutionize with improve. Like these are things across our brand we need to abide by, and everyone needs to abide by it. So we went ahead and uploaded this into our style guide so we can be consistent. Same with grammar and punctuation. So I know customers who always use the Oxford comma, or they never want Jasper to include exclamation points. They can set this in style guide. So this is business specific, but in brand voice, when you click on it, you'll see that drop down with voice and knowledge base. And so with voice, you really get to play around here. So you can see I have voices distinct for channels, from blog to customer stories to email to marketing to social. And so I know we've been talking a lot about social. So what I did is I clicked on add voice and enter URL. I dropped my LinkedIn page URL in here for Jasper to analyze how I write posts so he can emulate that. Same thing can go for other social platforms, or maybe it's Instagram and you want to take a couple of comments, or not comments, maybe it's posts. You can click on from text, paste those in here so Jasper can understand this is how you write social. So he can emulate that every time. And so that's that first pillar. And then the second pillar is knowledge base. So I like to think voice is what your content should sound like, and knowledge base is what your content should contain. And so same works for knowledge. You can upload text, you can upload files or URLs. And so I think the hidden gem with knowledge is customers not knowing they can upload existing assets. And so for us at Jasper, we have some really great creative assets like white papers, case studies that would be so easy to repurpose into other pieces of content. If I add that into my knowledge base, I can use a tool like Remix or anything else like Jasper Chat and ask Jasper, repurpose this case study into a 3-part email sequence to send a cold email to send to customers highlighting the ROI they could receive with a Jasper subscription. And so always recommend kind of starting with brand voice, gathering that context before you create the content.
And I think we've had probably 3 or 4 people join since you showed Remix.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty fun. So if you could show Remix again, I think that's a cool one to show.
Yeah, for sure. And so inside of a document on this left-hand side, which I always, again, will plug, working in a document, it's the most seamless way to create content. You get access to everything you need without having to switch screens. But if you click on Remix, you can upload a file from your computer, any URL, a piece of knowledge from your knowledge base, or just manual text and tell Jasper what to do with it. And so my favorite use case is uploading a webinar transcript and asking Jasper to extract key points, give me action items, give me a personalized follow-up. It's really quick for really robust things. I work with a publishing company and they need to upload really hefty manuscripts. That could be 150 pages. Remix is perfect. They can upload that and ask for a summary. And so we could just take an example here of, I'm going to look through our knowledge base and see, let's take this case study. I'm going to ask Jasper to repurpose this case study into a 3-part cold email campaign. I'm going to say to send to potential Jasper customers, highlighting the ROI they can also receive from Jasper. And I might say my audience is enterprise marketing teams. And I might even say these emails are from Kaylin, just to be really specific here. Before I click generate, I'm going to again select a voice for my document. So I'm going to choose from this drop down and select maybe Jasper marketing I'll do and save that. and then click generate. That way, as Jasper is generating this content, he's going to automatically generate it in my document in the brand voice I select for my document. So it's going to save me a couple of steps. But Remix, I think it's highly underutilized because everyone loves chat. Everyone loves create until they realize the power of Remix. And like, oh, it's great for one-off tasks. Like I need to manipulate this. I need to remix this. I need to extract a summary from this. It's really quick and seamless.
Yeah. And in
Question
this
for
case,
you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I was going to say, I just wanted to point out, she used the voice, the knowledge base, and special instructions all in this one little spot. And so it's pulling from the information that's in there. And we always talk about having a knowledge base, having your information stored safely. And then this is such an easy way to access it. So sorry, who did I interrupt?
Sorry, it was me. I
No
had a
worries.
quick question. So
Yeah.
when you said the word repurpose, so
Mm.
say you wanted to create, say you guys are revamping your Jasper website to include new information about Jasper, which I'm sure you guys do often. What if
Yep.
you want to repurpose a web page, but include information to maybe a new web page you have? Can you add more than one knowledge base link or a few knowledge base things in there, you know?
Yeah, amazing question. That's when I would use chat. And so in Remix right now, you can only upload one piece of knowledge, but if I'm in chat here, I can open up a new conversation here, click on this megaphone and apply multiple. So I could select analytics and insights. Maybe I want to also talk about our Chrome extension. I also want to talk about our new features. I can select all of those and then tell Jasper what to do with it. So Remix is great for like a one-off piece with a one-off task. But if you want Jasper to look at several things simultaneously, I would use Jasper Chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love these questions. Y'all are a blast.
Well, we talk about Jasper a lot and we teach about Jasper. So it's this is great timing though because of the new UI and we haven't had a chance to revamp all our videos inside our course yet because it just happened. So and Tiara is currently in the course. So she is learning to use Jasper, but then also now seeing the new UI. So this is perfect for that. I think it's really great the amount of updates that have been done and just showing those use cases of Remix and having that be a singular task, a one piece of knowledge you can do, and then the difference between that and chat and how you can pull in multiple knowledge, which you actually couldn't just a couple weeks ago, because that was part of the conversation I had with the team about a month ago about having access to files and knowledge and all that when you're actually creating the content.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know if the campaigns have also been updated with that same situation. And if you could go through that, please.
Yeah. So kind of asking about knowledge being added to campaigns.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes. And so as of right now, this is hilarious timing. So I'm in our headquarters in Austin. So I sit with a lot of people, including our VP of product. And so he always lets me tap on his shoulder and give some insight. And so we slowly were rolling this out, but I'm like, it's not the easiest thing to manually type in context for your campaign. It'd be so easy to just upload something that's already in your knowledge base. And so right here, it will allow me to do that. So maybe it's like, maybe it is like that case study that need to be repurposed. I can go ahead and grab, just like you mentioned, those multiple things here and then grab all those derivative assets.
That's so amazing because the campaign is so powerful.
Best.
And
oh my gosh.
Before the context was on the very bottom, and originally it said optional. It didn't even tell you like make sure you type stuff in here. And then it got a little bit. It changed, and the description changed a little bit. But the importance of that area seemed really devalued, I guess. Like visually you didn't know that was like the most important part of this screen.
Oh my gosh, right.
And so I'm so glad to see and maybe we could do a little campaign really quick and show people what this actually does if they have not played with it before. But it's much more powerful now that we can add the knowledge and the voice to it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to select our email campaign's promotional voice. Maybe we'll grab like our case study and our persona. I can go ahead and then select all the assets I need. And so maybe we're focused around marketing. So maybe I need Instagram, LinkedIn, promotional sequence, tweet ideas, but maybe I also want like a newsletter. Essentially, I can just select any asset that I need, and Jasper will generate each asset in a new document in this campaign. And so I like to think of it as like collaboration with organization. And so all of your assets are going to be organized, but you can bring anyone into this campaign to collaborate alongside you. It's going to be in your voice. It's all going to follow that brief that you provided or those knowledge pieces, but it's really quick. And so I always say, if you have like one content brief that you need several different assets for, use a campaign. So like I was on a call with a customer that needed to promote a book, and they're like, I need 20 different assets. What do I do? And so I'm like, just give some background on the book, set your voice, select the assets, and you'll be all set.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question
Yeah.
because I'm raising my hand and talking. So I see all of this, and this is great. We're going to create. Where is like my history? And is there like where do I see my history?
Good question. Yeah. So something I want to highlight is with Jasper Chat, all of your previous conversations are archived. I think that's like a common question I get. They're like, where do my conversations go? You can always access those. You can always go back into your recent content and documents. So I can in my dashboard see, this is what we just created together. If I'm in chat, I can go back into my previous conversations and see what was happening. But to see your inputs and outputs, in the top left-hand corner where you see your name, you're going to see output history under settings. If I click on that, you can see all of the outputs and also inputs you gave Jasper to receive those outputs. So you would click on that, click on these three dots, show inputs, and you would get your input as well. So you could use it again if you wanted.
And how are those named? Like I'm used to going in and looking at like all my Word docs, and they're named a certain way.
In terms of how these outputs are named or how your documents are named?
How the outputs are named.
Yeah. So for here inside of all outputs, it's going to be the feature that you use to get that output. And so here I can see I was creating a content campaign, and the asset I was using was the promotional email sequence. And this is what Jasper gave me in return here. So if I scroll down here, I can see that this is where we used Remix, and this is the output Jasper gave me in Remix. And so I can always open this up in a document if I want to kind of go into this output again. I could copy it, I could favorite it if I wanted to use the input here again, but it's going to be categorized by feature you use to get to that output.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something to that, Lisa. I definitely would not rely on this to be your organization of your files for sure. But yes, if you're looking to find like, how did I do that last time and it turned out so good, those would be like the favorites and that kind of thing. If you want to keep track of things and name them, that's where the documents come into play.
Yep. And you can choose to mark them as status, right? So we were just working on this piece of content. Maybe I want to say this is in progress here. So I know this is in progress. Maybe I wanted to share it. I can share this with someone else inside of my workspace. And then you'll see a little person pop up here. So you know it's been shared and someone else has the ability to collaborate with you there. Something that's new that I'd be more than happy to enable, Nicole, in your workspace or kind of talk through that with anyone else's spaces. And so with a lot of our solutions partners, this is like key. And so with this space, you can segment your content so it's automatically shared. And so I was working with a customer just earlier today, and she was like, we focus on B2B and B2C. Can we just have a separate folder, one for B2B and one for B2C? And so with this space, that's where you get to organize your content. You can add other people into that space with you. So that could be by your department who's working on that specific use case. And all the content is automatically shared with anyone involved in that space. So just another degree of organization there too.
Yeah, we are using that currently.
Good.
And
Okay,
I would
good.
love to go through that though, maybe on our next time, because we're at time now. But I know that everybody got so much out of it. And I also said earlier before you came on that we're going to be starting this as a series too. So we will hit up another topic next time, probably more into like when you're first just getting into Jasper and brand voice and building that. But I think that's where we could also have the conversation about spaces as well, because I know that you guys are working on changes there even.
Yes.
So it was great having you on, Caitlin, and we really look forward to having you on again. And Yeah, I mean, there's so much value in what this tool can do, and it just speeds everything up. But it's great having you on because you're coming directly from headquarters and everything that's new and updating us at the same time as you're updating our audience. So it's really helpful and we appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. And I just went ahead and dropped my email in the chat as well. I know I got a question about it. I love emails. Like they're never a burden to me. I have fun responding to customers. So if it's product feedback, maybe it's something you want to see in the product. It's like if you had a magic wand, this is what I would like to do. Tell me. I get to tell product these things every day. And so even if it's a question, please email me. Would love to hop on a quick call with you, talk through things further, send you a webinar, a quick best practice. And so always available moving forwards. But really thankful I got to come on with you all.
Yeah, thank you, Caitlin. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
Thanks,
that was so
everyone.
good.
And if you're
Awesome.
watching this recording, then be sure to sign up for our mastermind, aismartmarketing.com/mastermind.
All right.